Model 3, Lecture 1, Body Language. 1. The necessity and importance of learning body language in negotiations. It is an extremely powerful tool which can improve our life in many ways. With patience, persistence, and practice, we can use non-verbal behavioral patterns to more easily detect truths and lies, project a more confidence, powerful presence, persuade, influence, and sell better. But people at ease create a sense of trust, make friends. It is especially important in business negotiations. If you are only aware of negotiations' verbal message, you will likely miss the major portion of the overall communication. Being aware of both nonverbal and verbal message will give you an important edge. Communication is more than verbal. Good negotiations must be good communicators. Research has shown that between 70 and 90% of the entire communication spectrum is nonverbal. Consequently, you should be aware of the different forms of nonverbal communication that you are likely to encounter during negotiation conference. Body language. Important features of body language. The major categories of nonverbal communication include the general appearance, posture, gestures, facial expressions, eye contact, personal space, touch, and paralanguage. Posture. The way a person stands or sits is his posture. People from different countries learn how to sit, to stand, to walk differently. In US, people often fall into the chairs and slouch when they stand. In Europe, the slouching posture is a sign of poor manners. Also in Japan, formality is important. But there are similarities. Generally standing erect, shoulders back, head held high, display confidence, energy, and self-assurance, which gain more attention from the audience. And a relaxed posture, a comfortable sitting position, uncrossed arms, and a lack of stiffness indicate openness with no communication obstacles. On the other hand, abrupt movements, shifting sitting position, crossed arms, or legs may signal defiance, disinterest, or unwillingness to listen. It is good to adopt a flexible erect posture rather than a stiff or slouching posture. An erect posture reveals confidence and poise. Drooping shoulders, sagging in the seat, etc., reveal a feeling of depression and a lack of interest. Head motion. In oral communications, the movement of the head plays an important role. No one is expected to keep on shaking his head, but appropriate nods and shakes of the head enhance the level of communication of different cultures. Learn to sit, to work, to stand differently. Facial expressions. Face is the index of the mind. It is probably the most expressive part of the body. Many people try to hide the feeling of anger, fear, confusion, uncertainty, enthusiasm, and joy will get revealed by the facial expressions. Facial expressions vary from culture to culture. In some US business, it is acceptable to frown, swear, yell, but for Japanese, it is acceptable to laugh and smile in situations of strong emotions. Eye contact. Eye contact is an important aspect of a body language. In an oral communication context, the speaker and listener should not only face each other, but also maintain correct eye contact. If someone avoids direct eye contact, he is suspected to be sly or cunning. The amount of eye contact varies greatly in different countries. In Eastern countries, subordinates or younger people may avoid direct contact out of respect or deference, but it will be misunderstood in an international context. Japanese believe that the less eye contact, the higher the level of esteem. Chinese avoid long direct eye contact. A businessman talking to a woman in the Eastern country should avoid keeping extending eye contact. An Eastern businessman will internationally avoid eye contact with a partner as a sign of respect. It is more appropriate there to begin and to end a conversation with at least a glance as a sign of friendliness and willingness for cooperation. In many Western cultures, avoiding eye contact indicates that a person is unfriendly, insecure, untrustworthy, or inactive and impersonal. You should always make eye contact with the partner while either of you is speaking. Many Americans feel that people who do not look at them while listening or talking, or who shift their eyes away, are trying to hide something. On the other hand, some people feel uncomfortable by lengthy eye contact, and it is considered rude to stare. Americans also signal interest by bobbing their heads or grunting. Gestures. Movement of hands and fingers enhance communication, but gestures are culture specific. Gestures are considered to be such physical movements that have specific meaning in speech communication. The same gestures have different meaning in different cultures, and different gestures have the same meaning in different cultures. Some gestures are known to people throughout the world, others are not. Hand movements differ from one culture to another. Be careful. A gesture familiar in your country may carry an entirely different meaning in the other part of the world. The OK sign has different meaning in Europe, but obscene in many other countries. The OK sign has a different meaning in Europe, but obscene in many other countries. In the American society in France, it has the meaning of a zero. In Japan, it means money. And in Tunisia, I kill you. Though people use gestures almost without thinking, gestures are an essential part of communication. They add a dimension to speaking. A clenched fist may mean emphasis for an American but disrespect for an Indian. A thumb up sign, a movement of the index finger, communicate message effectively. Continuous gestures should be avoided. The index finger shown with a little shake stands to an emphasis, a point as an illustrator. For coming here, the American gesture is offensive for Chinese, and for Americans, the Chinese coming here gesture is like a goodbye. The forefinger near lips with the sound hush is the sign for silence in UK, America, but meant disapproval and hissing in China. Certain gestures made unconsciously will reveal the mental state of the speaker. Anger, fear, nervousness, etc. are often revealed by fidgeting, shifting of legs, etc. Twisting the shirt button of a cuff links, rubbing the necktie, scratching the cheek, nose, stroking the chin are some of the innumerable unconsciously acquired gestures. If overdone, they may degenerate to the level of mannerism. One has to avoid the habit of over-gesturing in oral communication. Paralanguage. In oral communication situations, paralanguage plays an important role while speaking or listening. The speaker or listener makes use of sounds like ha, or clicks his tongue on chuckles. These sounds, though do not have the semantic value, meaning, are in fact important parameters in maintaining an unbroken communication chain. The effective tools of listening. We come across people whose voice quivers when excited. There are people who shriek or shout when provoked. All these lead to an evaluation of the personality of the communicator, voice and tone. It is possible to communicate an unpleasant information pleasantly, or good news badly. When you tell someone you have done a great job, it is your statement and the tone together shows the receiver whether you are complimenting him or ridiculing him. A complimentary tone is distinctly different from sarcastic tone. Space. In oral communication situations, the space between the speaker and the listener is important. The normal distance between speakers also varies from one culture to another. Different people have different ideas about proper distance between people conversing. People from other parts of the world stand farther apart. Latin Americans, for example, usually stand relatively close while talking, at an arm's length or so. In the United States, speaking distance is usually 2 to 4 feet long. A person born there is likely to become uncomfortable if someone stands much closer, since he naturally feels that somebody is invading his personal space. According to studies, social distance may be anywhere from about 130 meters to 3 meters. The important thing to keep in mind that most English-speaking people do not like the people to be too close. Silence. In oral communication situations, silence plays an important role. People quite often talk about eloquent silence. People quite often talk about eloquent silence. Yes, silence can send communication signals. Silence in a particular situation may mean acceptance, agreement, and in certain other indifferences, apathy, or even anger. Listening. A proactive skill. In oral communication situation, listening plays an important role. Listening is different from hearing. One can hear all noises and sounds and yet could be a poor listener. Listening is hearing attentively and responding appropriately. Only a good listener can become a good speaker. Attentiveness begins with this posture a listener adopts while he is listening. If a person inclines towards the speaker, it means that the speaker is not clear, either in the message or in his articulation. If the listener tilts his head backwards, it shows that he is indifferent. A good listener is proactive. He is, as they usually say, all ears. He responds appropriately using paralanguage. He says yeah, yes, come on, and then. He asks questions and verifies facts, and listener's role in an oral communication situation is as important as the speaker's role. Listening in communication has several beneficial results. Good listening leads to getting useful and updating information. Good listening creates a better understanding and rapport between the speaker and listener. Good listening leads to better decisions. Good listening provides the best feedback to the speaker. So, the impact of culture of nonverbal communication is so strong that even people with a great experience in cross-culture communication might be unaware of how meaning of nonverbal acts varies from culture to culture. The study of body language should be complementary to the study of language in communications. The understanding of one should be helpful in the further understanding of the other. Some authorities feel that the two are dependent on each other. This is certainly true in most situations, but it is also true that a certain situation body actions contradicts what is being said, just as the spoken words may mean something quite different from what body language communicates. Thank you for your attention.